Welcome, traveler. You found the slumbering cosmos. Tonight, we're going to travel further than we have ever traveled. Not across space, but across time. We're going to journey all the way to the end of the universe. To the very last things that will ever happen. To see how it all finally comes to rest. And I want to promise you something right at the beginning, and I will keep reminding you of it all night long, because it matters more than anything else I will say. Everything we visit tonight is unimaginably, impossibly far away in time. Not years away, not thousands of years, not even millions. The events we will witness lie trillions, and then trillions of years in the future. Spans of time so vast that all of human history and the entire age of the earth and the whole life of the sun are less than the first tick of the first second of it. The end of the universe has no claim on you tonight. None. It cannot touch you or anyone you love or anything you have ever known. It is simply a beautiful, distant, peaceful thing to contemplate, the way you might watch a sunset that will not fade for 100 billion years. And here is the second promise. The end of the universe is not a catastrophe. It is not fire or terror or violence. When you follow the story all the way to its conclusion, as we will tonight, you find that the universe ends the way a long day ends, slowly, gently, growing quieter and dimmer and calmer, until at last everything simply comes to rest. The end of everything is the most peaceful thing there is. It is quite literally the universe going to sleep. So settle in, set down the day, all of it, the finished and the unfinished. None of it needs you tonight. It will keep until morning, and you will meet it then, rested. For now, there's only this long, slow journey into the far future, and there is nothing you need to do but drift and listen and let go. Let the bed take your whole weight, all of it, so that you're holding nothing up, bracing against nothing. Feel your shoulders slide down, away from your ears. Feel your hands fall open, the fingers softening. Let your jaw come loose, your brow smooth, the small muscles around your eyes let go. And let a slow warmth begin at the crown of your head and move down through you, through your face, your chest, your arms, down through your legs to your feet, and let it carry the whole day out of you as it goes down and away into the dark, where it can no longer reach you. And let your breathing slow, all on its own. Don't force it, just notice it. The soft rise, the slower fall, and let each breath out grow a little longer, a little gentler than the one before. Take one slow breath in and let it go all the way out. Let's travel to the end of time. Let us begin gently with the near future, near at least by the standards of tonight's journey, and with our own small star. The sun has been shining for about 4.5 billion years, and it is a calm, steady, middle-aged star. It has enough fuel to go on shining, much as it does now, for about 5 billion years more. That is the first number to hold, and to let soften you. 5 billion years of ordinary, faithful sunrises still lie ahead. More time than has passed since the Earth first formed. The sun is in no danger, and neither is the world, for a span of time longer than complex life has existed on this planet. But slowly, across those billions of years, the sun will brighten. very gradually, so gradually that it would take hundreds of millions of years to notice. It will grow a little warmer, a little brighter as it ages. And in the far future, that slow warming will make the Earth too hot for oceans, and the seas will, over unimaginable stretches of time, gently rise into the sky and drift away, and the Earth will become a warm, dry, quiet world. This is the deep future of our planet, and I tell it to you softly, because although it is an ending, it is a slow and gentle one, and it lies further ahead than the mind can truly hold. There will be no sudden day when it happens. There is no catastrophe here, only the slowest imaginable change, unfolding across spans of time so vast that every human life, every civilization, every era of history is less than a single breath within them. And notice how slow it all is, how nothing in the universe is ever in a hurry. The sun's brightening happens at a pace of a few percent every 100 million years. 100 million years, longer than the time since the last dinosaurs walked the earth, for a change so small you would never feel it. This is the tempo of the cosmos, not the frantic pace of a single day, but the vast, patient, geological slowness of deep time, in which even the death of a world unfolds so gradually that every generation that ever lived beneath that world sky would swear that nothing was changing at all. There's a great calm to be found in that slowness, if you let yourself feel it. Whatever seems urgent tonight, whatever seems like it must be solved right now, the universe does not know that kind of urgency. It has never once hurried in all its billions of years, and it never will. It simply unfolds gently at its own unhurried pace, giving everything all the time it could ever need. You can borrow a little of that slowness now. You can let your own sense of hurry dissolve into the vast patience of the sky. For now, tonight, the sun is exactly as it has always been. Steady, warm, faithful. It rose this morning, as it has every morning for 4.5 billion years, and it will rise again tomorrow. The far future can wait. Let's drift on toward it, slowly, and see what comes next. In about 5 billion years, the sun will finally begin to change in earnest, and it will become, for a while, one of the most beautiful things in the sky. As we saw on another night, when a star like the sun runs low on the hydrogen fuel at its core, it does not go out. It swells. Slowly, across many millions of years, the sun will expand outward and outward, growing larger and cooler and redder, until it becomes a vast red giant, 100 times its present size, its surface glowing a deep and gentle orange red, large enough to swallow the innermost planets and to loom enormous in the sky of whatever remains of the earth. And then, as we also saw, it will let go gently. It will breathe its outer layers away into space, slowly, in a great glowing exhalation, casting off soft shells of colored gas that will drift outward and glow for tens of thousands of years, lit from within by the hot core left behind. A planetary nebula, one of those beautiful blooming flowers of light we have visited before. That is how the sun will end, not with a bang, but with a slow, luminous sigh, a bloom of gentle color spreading into the dark. And what will be left at the center is a white dwarf, the small, dense, quietly glowing ember of the sun's old core, about the size of the Earth, no longer burning, simply cooling slowly in the middle of the fading nebula. The sun will become a white ember, and it will sit there in the dark, cooling with infinite patience for billions upon billions of years. And the gas the dying sun breathes away will not be wasted. It will drift outward into the galaxy, enriched with the carbon and oxygen the sun made across its long life. And it will mingle with the great clouds between the stars, and one day, perhaps, it will help to form a new star and new worlds somewhere else, long after. Even in its dying, the sun will give something onward, the very stuff of future suns, future planets, perhaps future life. Nothing is truly lost when a star dies. It is only passed along, gently, to whatever comes next. This is the fate of our star, and it is a peaceful one. It sounds perhaps a little sad, the ending of the sun that warmed every life that ever lived. But hold it gently. It is 5 billion years away, a span of time so vast it is almost meaningless. And it is not a violent death, but a beautiful and quiet one, a slow swelling, a soft release of light, and then a long, calm cooling in the dark. The sun will have a good death, as stars go, and by the time it comes, the sun's story will be only the very beginning of the universe's own long evening. Let's travel further into that evening now. Long before the sun dies, something vast and slow and beautiful will happen to our whole galaxy. The Milky Way is not alone. Its great neighbor, the Andromeda galaxy, 2.5 million light years away, is drifting slowly toward us. And in about 4 billion years, the two great spirals will meet. But do not picture a collision, a crash, a catastrophe. Picture, instead, the slowest and most graceful dance imaginable. When two galaxies come together, their stars are so far apart, like a few grains of sand scattered across an entire continent, that virtually none of them ever touch. The two galaxies simply glide into and through one another, their billions of stars sweeping past each other across the vast gulfs of space, drawn into long, graceful streams and arcs by their mingling gravity over hundreds of millions of years. And slowly, gently, across that unimaginable span of time, the two great spirals will merge and settle and become one, a single greater galaxy, which astronomers have already fondly named Milkomeda. No world will be destroyed in this merging. No star will be lost. Whatever beings might be alive then, on whatever worlds, would see, over millions of years, the slow and stately transformation of their night sky. Andromeda growing larger and brighter, spreading across the heavens, until the two galaxies wheel together in a slow cosmic embrace that takes longer to complete than the entire age of life on Earth. It is one of the gentlest violences in the universe, enormous and beautiful, and so slow that from inside it would look almost like stillness. And picture, if you like, a single night on some far future world, somewhere in that merging, a night still billions of years from now. Overhead, two great spirals of light, tilted and vast, filling half the sky, their long, luminous arms sweeping across the dark, brighter than any night sky that has ever existed on Earth. It would be the most magnificent view in the history of the cosmos. Two galaxies caught in the slow act of becoming one, hanging enormous and silent above a quiet world. And it would change so slowly that a whole civilization could rise and fall beneath it and see no motion at all, only that same breathtaking, unmoving splendor night after night for 1,000,000 years. There is something deeply reassuring in that, I think. Even the collision of galaxies is not to be feared. Even that is slow and gentle and harms no one. A coming together rather than a breaking apart. Two great families of stars becoming a single greater one in a dance that takes billions of years. Let the galaxies drift toward their slow embrace, far ahead in time. We travel onward into the deeper future where the lights begin at last to go out. Now we travel far beyond the death of the sun, far beyond the merging of the galaxies, into a future so distant that the numbers begin to lose all meaning. And here we witness the first great turning point in the life of the universe, the slow end of starlight itself. Stars are born from clouds of gas, and though the universe is vast, its supply of star-making gas is not infinite. Every time a new star ignites, a little of that gas is used up. Some is returned when stars die, but not all. A little is locked away forever in dead stars each time. And so, across the ages, very slowly, the universe is running low on the raw material for making new stars. We live, right now, in what astronomers call the stelliferous era, the age of stars. The age when the universe is full of light, full of galaxies blazing with newborn and living suns. It is a bright and beautiful time to be alive, but it will not last forever. In the deep future, perhaps 100 trillion years from now, the last of the star-making gas will be exhausted. The final new stars will ignite, and after that, no new stars will ever be born again anywhere in the universe. 100 trillion years. Try gently to feel the size of that number. The universe today is not quite 14 billion years old. 100 trillion is more than 7,000 times longer than the entire history of the cosmos so far. Everything that has ever happened, every star, every galaxy, every world, all of it, has taken place in less than the first fraction of the first chapter of the universe's life. We are living in the bright morning of a day that will last, in its dimming, almost unimaginably long. And there is a strange and gentle beauty in living as we do in the morning of it all. We are here for the bright part. We arrived early, in the age when the universe is still full of light, still making new stars, still blazing with the fires of its youth. Every star you have ever seen, every galaxy in every photograph, all the light that fills the night sky, all of it belongs to this brief, luminous, early chapter, the age of stars, which will one day seem, to whatever comes after, like the golden dawn of everything. We did not arrive too late. We arrived at the most beautiful hour there will ever be. And as the last stars are born and the gas runs out, the universe will slowly begin to dim. The bright galaxies will fade, one by one, as their brightest, fastest burning stars die and are not replaced. And what will be left, glowing on in the growing dark, will be the most patient stars of all. Let's go and see the long twilight of the last stars. After the last stars are born, the universe enters a long, long twilight, and it is lit at the end by the smallest and most faithful stars of all. You may remember the red dwarfs from another night, the small, cool, dim red stars, the most common stars in the universe, so frugal in their burning that they can shine for trillions of years, 1,000 times longer than a star like our sun. As the bright stars die out and are not replaced, it is these small red embers that will remain, glowing softly on, the last fires still burning in a slowly darkening cosmos. For an almost unimaginable span of time, trillions upon trillions of years, the universe will grow gradually dimmer and redder and calmer, lit only by these patient red dwarfs, burning low and steady in the deepening dark. The great blazing galaxies of today will have faded to soft red glimmers. The night skies of that era, if anyone remained to see them, would hold only a scattering of dim red stars, far apart, glowing gently, growing fewer with every passing eon. There is something almost unbearably peaceful in that image. The universe in its long, red evening, most of its fires gone out, only the small calm ones remaining, burning low and slow, in no hurry, across spans of time that dwarf everything that came before. It is the cosmic equivalent of the last hour before sleep, when the bright lights of the day have been turned off one by one, and only a single soft lamp remains, glowing warm and low in the corner, and everything is quiet, and everything is calm, and it is nearly time to rest. And imagine that final star, the very last one, a small red dwarf, glowing alone in an enormous dark, trillions of years from now, the last fire left in all the universe. It will not know that it is the last. It will simply go on burning, low and patient and faithful, as red dwarfs do, for a very long time, warming perhaps a single quiet world that circles it in a cosmos otherwise gone entirely dark. And then, one day, unhurried, having given all the light it had to give, it too will cool and redden and softly fade, the last light in the history of the universe, going gently out. There is no tragedy in it. Think of the last ember of a fire on a winter night, after everyone has gone warm to bed, how it glows and dims and finally winks out, having done its work, leaving only a deep and peaceful dark and the quiet of sleep. That is how the age of stars will end. Not in fear, not in loss, just a last warm ember, glowing low, and then gently letting go. And then, at last, even the red dwarfs begin to go out. One by one, across trillions of years, they exhaust their long-hoarded fuel and cool and fade and fall dark, until, finally, the very last star in the entire universe flickers and dims and gently goes out. And for the first time since the very beginning, there is no starlight anywhere in the cosmos. The long age of stars is over. The universe goes fully dark, and we travel on into the era of the dead. With the last star gone dark, The universe enters what astronomers call the degenerate era, the long, quiet age of the dead stars. Do not let the name trouble you. It is a calm and peaceful age. The universe is not gone. It is simply resting. Space is filled now with the cooling remnants of all the stars that ever lived, a vast scattered population of white dwarfs, slowly cooling from white to yellow to red and finally to black, and neutron stars spinning down, growing quiet, and the small, failed stars called brown dwarfs that never quite caught fire, and drifting between them, the cold dark worlds, the planets, orphaned now, still circling their dead suns in the dark, or wandering free. It is a still and silent cosmos, this one. No new light is being made. The old lights have gone out. There is only the faint, fading warmth of the cooling embers, growing dimmer across spans of time, so vast that the numbers become almost pure poetry. Not billions of years, not trillions, but numbers with dozens of zeros, stretches of time so long that a trillion years within them passes like a single quiet heartbeat. And across those unimaginable stretches, the dead stars slowly drift apart, and the galaxies themselves come quietly undone, their stars gently scattering into the growing dark, no longer bound, no longer gathered, simply drifting, each one alone, in an ever emptier, ever calmer, ever darker cosmos. And there would still be beauty in that quiet age for anyone left to see it. A white dwarf, cooling through its long twilight, would glow for ages in soft, dimming colors, white, then a gentle gold, then a deep ember red, fading across billions of years like the last light of an endless evening. A neutron star would spin on, slower and slower, keeping its faithful rhythm in the dark, and the cold, dark worlds would circle on, patient and silent, tracing the same orbits they had always traced, around the fading corpses of their suns. Even in the age of the dead, nothing is violent, nothing is cruel. There is only the slow, gentle cooling of everything across spans of time beyond all imagining. I know how this might sound, lonely, perhaps, or bleak, but I would ask you to feel it differently, the way the universe itself would have you feel it. This is not a tragedy. It is a settling. It is the cosmos coming slowly to rest after all its blazing and its striving, the way a great fire settles at last into glowing embers, and then into warm ash, and then into a deep and peaceful dark. There is nothing frightening in a fire that has burned down to embers at the end of a long night. There is only warmth and quiet and the nearness of sleep. Let the dead stars cool and drift across their unimaginable ages. We travel further still to the age of the black holes. Across spans of time so vast they can barely be written, even the dead stars will, at last, disappear, and the universe will enter its strangest and most patient age of all, the age of the black holes. Across those unimaginable stretches of time, the cold remnants of the stars will slowly be gathered or scattered or drawn one by one into the great black holes that lie at the centers of the old galaxies. And eventually, across time enough, the black holes will be nearly all that remains. Vast black holes, some with a mass of billions of suns, drifting through an almost perfectly empty, perfectly dark, perfectly silent cosmos. They will be the last great structures in the universe, the final monuments, the patient keepers of the long, dark age, and for an almost incomprehensible span of time, they will simply endure. Nothing lasts like a black hole. While everything else fades and scatters and grows cold, the black holes will remain dark and steady and permanent across stretches of time so long that all the ages that came before, all the trillions of years of stars, all the eons of the dead, are less than an eye blink by comparison. But even black holes, in the end, do not last forever. This was Stephen Hawking's great and beautiful discovery, that black holes are not perfectly black, that they very, very slowly leak away their energy, one faint particle of light at a time, growing imperceptibly smaller across unimaginable ages. It is the slowest process in all of nature. A black hole the size of the ones at the centers of galaxies would take a span of time to evaporate that requires a number with 100 digits to write down, a length of time so vast that, compared to it, the entire history of the universe until now rounds down to nothing at all. And there's something almost tender in that final evaporation if you sit with it a while. A black hole spends its unimaginable life as the most powerful, most permanent, most unyielding thing in all of nature, the one object that takes and holds and never lets go. And yet, in the very end, even it lets go. Even the tightest grip in the universe finally, gently opens. Across ages beyond counting, the great black holes give themselves back to the cosmos, one soft particle of light at a time, growing lighter and warmer and smaller, until at the very last they release everything they ever held in a final quiet glow and simply cease to be. Nothing is held forever, not even by a black hole. Everything in the fullness of time is set down and released and allowed to rest. There's a lesson in that gentle enough to fall asleep on. If the most powerful thing in existence can, in the end, loosen its grip and let go, then surely tonight so can you. Whatever you're holding on to, whatever you're gripping tight as you lie here in the dark, you can set it down just for the night. The universe itself will do the same in the end. Letting go is not a failure. It is simply what everything does at last when it is finally time to rest. And so, across that unthinkable stretch, one by one, across the deepest dark, the last black holes will slowly, softly evaporate, growing smaller and fainter and warmer, until each one, at the very last, releases its final whisper of light into the void and is gone. The last black hole to die will be the last significant object in the universe. And when it releases its final breath of light, the cosmos will hold nothing left to fade. We have almost reached the end. Let us go gently and see it. And so we come at last to the end of everything, to the final age of the universe. Astronomers call it the Dark Era, and it is the most peaceful thing there is. After the last black hole has evaporated, after the last light has faded, the universe becomes what it will be from then on, forever. An endless, thin, cold, dark, silent sea. Space stretched almost infinitely wide by the long ages of expansion, filled with nothing but a faint drift of stray particles and the last cooling glow of light, spread so thin and so cold that it approaches the coldest cold there is, a temperature just barely above absolute zero, and growing ever gentler, ever calmer across spans of time without any end at all. Nothing happens in the dark era. Nothing changes. There are no stars, no galaxies, no worlds, no light, no events. Only the vast, cold, quiet dark going on and on, gently forever. It is the universe at absolute rest. It is the cosmos at the very end of its long, long day, finally, completely, and permanently still. And I want you to feel, really feel, as you drift towards sleep, that this is not a sad ending, but a deeply peaceful one. The universe does not end in fire or in terror or in a scream. It ends in silence, in stillness, in rest. After all the blazing of the stars, all the birthing and dying of galaxies, all the striving and the motion and the light, after all of it, the universe finally gets to do the thing that you're doing right now. It gets to stop. It gets to be quiet. It gets to rest at last in the deep and gentle dark forever. And notice, too, one last quiet grace, that the universe will spend almost all of its existence in this state of rest. All the light and motion and striving we know, all the stars, all the galaxies, all the life, all the history, will turn out to have been only the briefest opening flicker, a single bright morning at the very start of an existence that is overwhelmingly made of calm and quiet dark. The stillness is not the interruption of a universe's life. The stillness is almost the whole of it. The burning was only the beginning. Rest is the natural and final and by far the longest state of all things. So when you rest tonight, you are not doing something small or separate from the great cosmos. You're doing the very thing that the universe itself spends nearly all of eternity doing. You are joining the deepest and most natural condition there is, to grow quiet, to grow still, to come at last to rest in the gentle dark. This is not the opposite of a universe's story. It is the universe's story in the end. There is nothing to fear in an ending like that. It is the softest ending imaginable. It is the whole universe exhaling one last, endless, peaceful breath, and then holding perfectly, calmly still. Let that stillness settle over you now, the deepest stillness there could ever be. But before we come home, let me tell you, gently, that this is not the only way the story might end. The long, slow fading we have followed tonight, the heat death, the quiet dark, is the ending most scientists believe is coming. But it is not the only possibility, and the others are worth knowing softly before we rest. For no one knows, yet for certain, exactly how the universe will end, and there is a gentleness in that uncertainty too. Perhaps some think the expansion of the universe will one day slow and stop and gently reverse, and across unimaginable ages, everything will begin ever so slowly to draw back together. The galaxies would drift closer and closer over billions of years until at last the whole universe would gather itself back into a single point in a kind of mirror image of the Big Bang, an ending some call the Big Crunch. And some wonder whether such a crunch might not be an ending at all, but a beginning, whether the universe might bounce and be born anew, a fresh cosmos rising from the gathered ashes of the old, in an endless gentle cycle of breathing in and breathing out forever. Or perhaps others think the expansion will not slow but quicken faster and faster across the ages, until in the unimaginably distant future it grows so strong that it stretches everything apart, an ending sometimes called the Big Rip. But even this, should it come, lies so many billions of years away that it has no more claim on tonight than any of the others. No one knows which ending is the true one. The quiet fade is the most likely by what we understand today. But the universe keeps its final secret still, and perhaps always will. And there's something restful, I think, in not knowing, in being able to lie here in the dark and simply wonder softly how the great story ends without any need to decide tonight. The end of a universe is a mystery that will keep. It is kept for 13 billion years. It will certainly keep until morning. Let us leave it its mystery and turn now for home. Let us come back now across all those unimaginable ages, all the way home to tonight, to this year, this night, this bed, this one small, warm, living moment, so near the very beginning of the universe's long story. Because that is the last thing I want you to carry down into sleep, and it is the most comforting of all. We have traveled tonight to the very end of time, across trillions upon trillions of years, past the death of the sun and the merging of the galaxies, past the last of the stars and the long age of the dead, past the slow evaporation of the black holes, all the way to the final, endless, peaceful dark. And every bit of it lies so unimaginably far ahead that it is almost the same as never. You are alive in the bright morning of the cosmos, in the age of stars, in the warm, blazing, beautiful youth of the universe, when the galaxies still turn and the suns still shine and the sky is still full of light. Of all the endless ages of the universe, you happen to be alive in the most luminous one of all. That is a rare and precious thing. And all those distant endings, the fading, the cooling, the final rest, they ask nothing of you tonight. They cannot reach you. They will not come for you, or for anyone, or for anything you have ever known or loved. They are simply out there, far ahead in the dark of time, waiting patiently, as they have always waited, and they will keep gently for longer than the mind can hold. And perhaps that is the strangest gift of traveling all the way to the end of everything, the way it sends you back to this moment and makes it shine. We so rarely notice the ordinary miracle of now, that the stars are lit, that the sun is warm, that the sky is full of light, that you are alive in the brief, blazing, beautiful youth of the universe. We take it for granted, this luminous morning, as though it would last forever. It will not, and that is exactly what makes it precious. Of all the endless dark ages still to come, you were given one of the rare and shining ones to live in. You are here for the light, So there is nothing to fear and nothing to do but rest. The sun will rise tomorrow, as it has for 4.5 billion years, and as it will for 5 billion more. The stars are shining tonight, all across the young and living cosmos. And you are here, safe and warm, near the very beginning of the great story, with all of time still ahead. And when, at the very end of everything, the universe finally comes to rest in the deep and gentle dark, it will only be doing at last what you are about to do right now. So close your eyes now, if they're not already closed. Breathe in slowly and out even more slowly. The universe will rest someday in perfect peace and perfect stillness. And so, tonight, can you? The cosmos is slumbering, and so are you. Good night, traveler. Sleep here in the bright morning of the world.